Well, I wonder how many Power Five conference schools have been not at a home game in 20 days. But I would think that, especially with the advantages we have at home, but the opportunity to go to Maui and then be involved in the ACC SEC Challenge at Duke was obviously a real tough stretch for us travel wise, and but it doesn't affect our fans. Guys, we had, I'd say, close to or a little over 1,000 people at Cameron Indoor Stadium, and when we got off to a great start, you really couldn't tell the difference between whether we were on the road or at home, and that definitely, elevated our play. But certainly that's a great Duke team. That's because of they're so young. They're going to get better. Um, John Shire, I've said it, he doesn't get enough credit for how good a coach he is. They do have superior talent. They do. When you got kids that are coming off the bench that are going to be drafted, like maybe in first round, and that tells you how deep they are, and how. But it also tells you about their culture and their chemistry, that they can take a McDonald's All-American and having him off the bench and be right and ready like he did in that first half. Cooper Flagg was terrific, and he's played really well in their best games. I think our transition defense, let us down, and you go to Duke and score whatever we scored, 78, shoot 45%, only turn the ball over 9 times or whatever it was. You got a fighting chance to win. We didn't get the foul line nearly as much as they did. They played more physically, offensively. And then, you got to come home, and then you got to play last year's A-10 champion in Richmond. We went to play them in New York a few years ago, and we were down 2 at half. And Coach Mooney, he didn't invent the 5-out Princeton stuff, but he probably runs it as well as anybody. So it's a great game for us, because nobody will run 5-out better. We run some 5-out. Nobody will run it better than Richmond in the way he does it. They've got a great guard that was one of the leading scorers in, Hunt. It's one of the leading scorers in the country. Real quick, real fast, hard to stand in front of. Does a great job of getting the foul line. So we came in. Yesterday was a day off because of travel, and then we actually came in this morning to watch some of the Duke game and learn from it, because I did not want to watch Duke this afternoon in practice. We have a short turnaround getting ready for Richmond. They've had 11 days, and we've got basically 2 days to get ready for them. The other thing I just want to make note of, so Sunday is a doubleheader. So we play at 11, and the women play at 2 o'clock against UAB, and congratulations to our women's basketball team for that great road win at Virginia in the SEC ACC Challenge. We call timeout. Are they clearing it?
No.
They're not clearing it. So it's not a separate selling.
We're encouraging fans to stay.
Okay, all right. Over. I want to encourage our fans to stay for the second game. They're not going to clear the building. They're going to keep it open so that our people that have supported men's basketball can stay and get a treat of watching our women play. So I hope everybody will do that.
BP, I was going to ask you, I guess, 2 questions. Tahad, do you like him still coming off the bench? Do you feel like he provides that jolt? Is he comfortable there? And then on the fast break points, obviously, what do you sort of, I guess, attribute to just not being able to get out and transition like you would have liked against Duke?
Our lack of fast break points. I would say that the analytically, the starting lineup of the ones we've had of Denver and Miles, Chad, Dylan, and Janai has analytically been the best 5 in the country. So, you don't want to mess with that. Tahad, certainly could play starters minutes, and he certainly could be in at the end of games. He's been at the end of games. Have been some close games. He was in a little bit of foul trouble in the second half, and so we gave him a rotation out. With about 4 minutes ago, we gave him a rotation. The thought was to put him back in, but we needed some stops, and we did get 3 or 4 stops late without him. And then we missed three good shots. Chennai had one go in and out. Chad had a good 15-foot pull-up, and Denver missed an inside shot, all makeable. And so we needed some stops, and so I put the bigger lineup in there to get stops. But Tahad has obviously shown what he's capable of doing, and Tahad will continue to play more and more point guard. I think that seems to be, if we've learned anything. Again, I brought him in as a undersized scoring two-man, and he's really good with the ball as well.
Bruce, you mentioned how important, I guess it was for them on the glass early on. Then you guys are plus 14 in the second half against a team with that kind of length. What did you see adjustment-wise from your guys in rebounding?
I would say that we had we may have executed our half-court offense a little better in the second half overall. We executed really well in the first 4 or 5 possessions. So, I just thought that it may have been late where, we're running out of time. And so therefore, in running out of time, our guys had a greater sense of urgency to crash in the glass. And it helped us to outplay them in the second half, outscore them.
Bruce, you talked about transition defense.
Yeah.
Just kind of what stood out to you when we were watching film of what broke down there?
Yeah, I think sometimes what happened in transition defense would be this. Dylan would go for an offensive rebound and get knocked down and be on the floor. It's 5-on-4. Or one of our guards would go in there, play off 1 feet, throw something up, and have it get blocked. It's 5-on-4. Or you drive in there and you get on the floor yourself. It's 5-on-4. So most of the transition was truly 5-on-4 because it had something to do with how we did not execute offensively. And then I think the only other thing I would say would be our guards did not do a great job of stopping the ball and then fanning out and finding the shooters.
Bruce, I wanted to ask you about Sonny Smith. If I'm right, this is the game where he's going to be honored. And, he's stepping down. But just what has it meant to have him kind of around the team during your tenure?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that have been great for me, first of all, I go back a ways with Sonny. When I was head coach at Division II Southern Indiana, one of the things that we try to do in Division II is act like a Division I program. So we did lots of different things that D1 programs do, like have a coaching clinic. And I had 2 featured speakers at that coaching clinic in Southern Indiana. Charlie Spoonhour, who had coached at St. Louis and had coached at UNLV, and just a great coach, great guy. And Sonny Smith from Auburn. And it's amazing how far Sonny will travel for $500. Just it's unbelievable. And but he came up and that was something that meant a lot to me as a young Division II head coach, to have a couple of legends like Charlie Spoonhour and Sonny Smith at your clinic. And I think those are the kind of things that you do when you're at Division II level that give you credibility. All of a sudden, my credibility in the city of Evansville, grows because of that we were able to attract such great coaches. I think the next thing that was really important for Sonny is having him with Rod my first 3 years, trying to explain where we were, how far we had to go based on what our roster was and the challenges. And Sonny, he never panicked. He never jumped off the wagon. And he was able to explain to our listeners the good, the bad, and the ugly, and allowed our Auburn fans to be patient, because it really wasn't until year 3 where we started to be more competitive in the league. And then we won it year 4.
Bruce, I'm sure Chad is used to it at this point, but it almost seems like sometimes a little bit of probing from opponents. I mean, do you guys have any do you talk to him about that at all, or do you let him just kind of manage that?
Because one of the best ways to explain it to Chad would be, you do that to other people. You kind of will sometimes maybe say something or run by him a certain way, and then maybe get a retaliation and a flop. And so, Chad has got to. He plays with great emotion, but obviously he understood what I was talking about in the sense that, look, he's 175 pounds, okay, and he's one of the best players on the floor. And whether the scouting report is to be physical with him or not, at 6'7", almost 6'8", 175, 180, there's not a lot there to him, and so that he's getting pounded pretty good. But once again, defensively, he did a phenomenal job. He does so many good things off the ball. He plays hard, plays unselfishly, and plays the right way. Just got to make sure that he's mindful that sometimes the extracurricular stuff can get in the way.
Bruce, after the Duke game, you talked about Tahad's courage, and I think that's what a lot of people have kind of seen here, especially in those big games. Just how impressive is that for a guy at his age, just a few games in his career? Doesn't matter who he's playing, he's going out there and playing like he is.
Even though he's kind of from Jersey, he's kind of a Jersey point guard, if you will. Sharif Cooper was a Jersey point guard, and they grew up fast. They played at Rucker Park. They've played, in Jersey City. They've played in some tough neighborhoods, and so therefore they're just not afraid. So I tell you what, Todd Pettifor is representing all those young New York, New Jersey point guards that have got great skill but like anything, the only thing I in that regard would be, everybody talks about how much Duke's going to improve because they're so young. And I keep telling my team this. I'd like them to say the same thing about us. We're going to have to be able to deal with the league that we've got right now. Right now there are 12 teams in the NCAA tournament in the preseason. Right at this point, if the tournament was seeded today, there'd be 12 teams in the SEC, in the NCAA tournament. And if you guys pull an earlier press conference after practice, I said, guys, I got great news for you. I really do believe we're going to be in the top 30 teams in the country. I really do. I also believe we could finish 10th in our league and be ranked 30th. And so it's going to be a grind. And that's one of the things about this non-conference schedule is that, obviously it's been a grind. It just doesn't get any easier on Sunday bringing in, last year's A10 champ. They got some pieces to replace for sure, but it's, they got a culture of winning over there.